Were you a part of Fit4Mom before you purchased it? Did you just decide one day that you wanted to buy it?
Yeah. Prior to owning, I was actually a member. So I originally joined Fit4Mom when I was pregnant with my first. I just felt like so much love and support from the community. They organized like a meal train and a diaper train and just all the things when we really couldn't connect with. I'm just really, really hoping that like more variety, more times, more locations, like going to attract all the moms basically.
So it's nice to have, it's like adamant to have those people that you can rely on. And the nice thing about Fit4Mom, because I kind of had a similar start where somebody approached me pregnant with my first daughter. We had just moved here. I knew nobody and all my friends back home didn't have kids. And so I was like, I don't know how to make mom friends pregnant. Like you don't go out to the bars or like, out, you know, we weren't doing that. And you're like, I'm not going to go hang out with a bunch of people with kids yet because I'm just pregnant. So Courtney, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm excited to have you. You're the first person I've had on a podcast that I've never met in person before.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Yeah, no pressure. So tell me, you recently purchased the Fit4Mom franchise here in Chattanooga. Tell me about that and tell me about Fit4Mom Chattanooga.
So Fit4Mom is the nation's leading prenatal and postnatal like fitness, wellness, and health program for moms. And their mission is really to build strength in motherhood. So the Chattanooga location has been around for 8 years. And I just purchased it from the previous owner, Rachel, back in May. And so we do stroller-based fitness classes and mom-only fitness classes throughout Chattanooga. But we like to say, even though we're called Fit4Mom, we're also about the whole family, not just the moms. And so we do like community building after class as well with free play groups and then different events for moms, such as Mom's Night Out, and events for the family as well. So family fun days and family-friendly 5Ks and other events like that.
Tell me how you came to purchase a franchise. I'm curious about that. Were you a part of Fit4Mom before you purchased it? Did you just decide one day that you wanted to buy it? Yeah. Did you ever purchase a franchise before? I guess tell me a little bit about that.
So this is my first franchise purchase ever. Prior to owning, I was actually a member. So I originally joined Fit4Mom when I was pregnant with my first. Cool. And that was when we were living in Northern Virginia. Okay. So I was, I want to say about 4 or 5 months pregnant with my first, and I was on a mission for some pretzels and cheese. And I was walking around with my little pregnant belly, and the owner of that franchise actually stopped me and said like, hey, you're clearly pregnant. Do you have any mom friends?
What? No, I'm not. Never asked.
And yeah, and in that moment, I just realized like, oh my gosh, she's right. I have no mom friends. Like I was the first of my friend group to have a baby, to be pregnant. And it kind of like hit me like, where do you find mom friends? Right. Like, what do you do? So she invited me to take the Fit for Baby class, which is their prenatal like cardio strength core building class. And I like loved it. I fell in love with it. There were other moms, it was their first pregnancy. There were other moms where it was like their second or third. And so it was just really nice to be around a bunch of people that you can ask them all the questions, like, what is this weird thing feeling? Like, I've never been pregnant before, tell me.
It's lightning cross.
Right, exactly. And so I did that twice a week. And then my son, I literally was in Fit for Baby the night before he was born. And so he was born March 6, 2020.
Okay.
Really epic timing. So we all know the world kind of shut down. Perfect timing to become a new mom, right? And I just felt like so much love and support from the community. They organized like a meal train and a diaper train and just all the things when we really couldn't connect with anybody. And so finally when stuff started opening up a little bit more, they started doing their stroller-based classes again outside, and I was just so excited. I was so excited to get back into it, and try a class with him. Like I had never tried a class, like a workout with a baby before. So I was all pumped, went, popped him in the stroller. He screamed the entire time.
Classic.
And I was like, great, this isn't going to work out, is it? And I was just, again, newly postpartum, so all the hormones, all the emotions, first baby, I was a mess. I kid you not, every mom in there was like, I'll push him so you can get a squat in. And the instructor like held him the whole time during our stretch and restore. And like I said, I was like a mess because postpartum, first baby.
We all are.
Yeah, it's just a lot. I was like,
I'm still a mess.
oh my gosh, I feel so much love and just support. And I just feel like we can show up like as, you know, as we are.
Yeah.
And so long story short, we were doing that for a while. And then it just became clear that, you know, our jobs weren't moving back into office and we really just needed a lot more space. We had recently found out that I was pregnant with our second, and so we looked to move, and the first thing I did before moving was Google, like, Fit4Mom Chattanooga. Yeah. Like, I knew, like, we had that community, we had that support, I needed it wherever we moved. And so after we had moved to Chattanooga, I had joined the franchise here as just, you know, a member. But I was still working full time from home and the scheduling was a little bit off. So it was hard to really get into a routine. So I ended up joining during one of their anniversary free weeks.
Cool.
And it was so funny because I actually saw one of my neighbors at like the mega class celebration. And you know, when you see someone not in the same place.
Yeah.
Hey, do I know you? And so we ended up now just like carpooling together every night for our mom only classes. And, you know, we had another baby in between all of that. And I ended up quitting my full-time job in January 31st.
What was that? Where were you at before?
That was where I was at before. It was a like government job.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I ended up quitting my full-time job. My youngest son had a lot of health issues and it was just getting really hard to like manage 3 kids.
Absolutely.
Under 4, working full-time, just all the things. And so my last day was January 31st and literally the next day I'm sitting at my computer and I got the Fit4Mom like monthly newsletter and it said they were looking for a social media person. So I was like, oh, like I could do that. Yeah. Like, great timing. So I originally started as their social media person. And then about a month later, the previous owner had asked me to do a post that she was selling. And I was like, ooh, I'm very curious about this. Because I just knew, like for me, how important it was for my own mental health, my physical well-being, just being around other moms.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted that to continue here. And so after that little teaser of, ooh, post edits for sale, I was like, you know what, let's do it. So all that to say, started in Northern Virginia, continued my journey here and just got more and more involved as the months kind of went on. Yeah. And then when it went for sale, I'm like, you know what, this is meant to be. There's too many signs too quickly in a row to not.
Yeah, I didn't know you were the person who wrote that up because I got that email too on their newsletter. It's kind of ironic that the person who wrote it ended up buying it.
Yeah.
So how many Fit4Mom locations are there nationwide? Are they in every state?
Yeah, so there are about 250 locations nationwide. Each one is like independently owned by, you know, a mom in that community. And so here in Tennessee, there's Chattanooga, I believe there's Knoxville, and I'm missing one.
Nashville, maybe? Franklin?
There's not a Nashville one anymore.
Memphis?
I think it's Franklin.
Okay.
So, and then South Atlanta would be the next closest one.
Cool. All right. Well, tell me about your family. You mentioned you have a few kids, and you mentioned you're also not from Chattanooga. You said Virginia. Is that where you're originally from?
No. So I'm originally from Wisconsin, and I had met my husband. We've been married now for about 9 years.
Nice.
I met him abroad while I was teaching in Ecuador at an international school. I used to be an English teacher. And after we had gotten married, that was 2015.
Did you get married out there?
Yes.
Nice.
When we got married in 2015, we decided that we would go through the citizenship process with him. And he is from a very tropical place. Wisconsin is not.
Not really.
And so when we knew we were going to do that, I gave him the choice, like, hey, where do you want to live? And so he ended up choosing the DC area. So we were there for about 4 or 5 years before we had moved down here. And so our oldest was born in Virginia. Again, height of COVID.
Yeah, so I actually found out I was pregnant with my second daughter March 6th or 7th, 2020. So my whole pregnancy was COVID, and it was annoying.
Yes.
And I don't think it was as strict here as it probably was in DC.
It was very strict.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the curves of like moving here. We're like, oh, things are like a little bit more open.
Oh, yeah.
So that was really exciting for us. But so he was born. We both had recently started the jobs that we were at. Mm-hmm. And so neither of us had a really good maternity paternity leave package. And so, it was us for months, like strapping him onto our chest and like working out.
And you're both fully at home.
Both fully home.
It's a lot.
Remote with a newborn.
It's like COVID did great things with like you could work from home, but then I feel like it also made it where like if you like your kid has a snow day or something, you still have to work. That happens to my sister in Colorado, and then she has her kids at home but also has to work. And I'm like, it kind of did a bad thing in that regard.
Yeah, like there's never an off.
Right.
An off.
Like you could just work from home.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I would stay up after his last feeding in the morning and then like log in, get as much done as I could until he like woke up for the morning.
Oh, wow.
And then like we would pass him and like, okay, you hold him in the carrier for a while and like bounce on the little ball and like do your work. It was just like,
it's exhausting.
It was a nightmare, and it was like around the clock, and like that's your first experience, like definitely contributed to some anxiety.
I'm sure.
Like it was a lot.
Yeah.
And so I want to say it was August. We had built up some like time off finally. And so I was like, we need to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's like travel restrictions, but like where can we go that's close by and has a pool? Those are my only two requirements. So we like pulled up Airbnb and I was like, Chattanooga. Okay. That sounds good. Let's go there. So we rented an Airbnb here for about a week.
Do you know where we're at? Is it in St. Elmo?
It was in East Ridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a friend who owns an Airbnb with a pool in St. Elmo, and I'm like, how weird would that be if you stayed in her Airbnb?
That would be a small world. So we stayed there for a week and just did like all the touristy things.
Cool.
Like, all the touristy
It sells
things.
you on the, like, because we came here on a whim too, looking for somewhere to move, and we just like did little touristy things, went to that little winery and could see like the water, and we're like, we need to move here. It's like, I feel like it sells you when you do that.
Yep. So we did like a hike, not Ruby Falls. What's the other one? I'm drawing.
Rock City.
Rock City, the museum, the aquarium. Like we did all those.
Yeah.
All those things, right? And I was like, this is a great little place. Like, how have we not heard of it? Like, it's so hidden. And so when we drove back, we were like, okay, we're still not going to be in person. Like, let's just move.
Yeah.
So in November 2020, we had met a realtor online.
Cool.
Visited. We saw like 10 houses in one day, put an offer on the last house that we saw, and we got it. And so we haven't looked back since then. Like for our kids, their ages, like this is literally like the perfect little place.
Yeah.
So my other two, so my oldest is Javier. He was March 6th, 2020. We have Eliana. She was August 12th, 2021.
Okay, so they're close.
And then we had our son, Santiago, June 15th, 2020.
Beautiful names.
And yeah, so we moved. 2 of the 3 were born here. And then I think it kind of connects with my Fit4Mom journey as well, because when I was working full time, like the scheduling of the classes here were really, really difficult because it was like Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. And I'm like, can't really make those classes. And so when I found that my neighbor was doing the classes and we were able to carpool, that made it a little bit easier to like hit up those mom only classes at night. It got to be like too difficult. And then, so Santi was born in June. I had not been a member for a while just because of like the scheduling and the connecting and the life and all that kind of stuff. But he had a little bit of a NICU stay.
Okay.
And I just remember like, I don't know, is your family from here?
No, I'm from Denver, so I don't have family. No, we don't have family here.
Okay, so you get it. Like when you don't have family somewhere, like most of the times you don't really notice it and it's kind of like normal, right? Yeah. Like y'all visit each other, they come, you come.
It's kind of nice because you're like, okay, good to see you. See you next time.
Go home, bye. So like you just don't notice their absence or like, because it is what it is. And like for me and my husband, we had been moving around so much that like it's normal for us. Like
you make your own life.
Right. And so, but like when my son was in the NICU, like I refused to leave. How
could you?
I was like, I'm not leaving. And so my husband was doing all of this crazy like back and forth, like holding the fort down with our other two, like pawning them off on neighbors. And
it's a lot. It's hard.
It was a lot. And it got to the point towards the end of his stay where he was like, I need you to come home because I'm running out of people to ask.
Yeah.
Probably gonna cry a little bit.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it was just kind of at that point. Please edit this.
No, you're good. A lot of emotions. I've never had a NICU baby, so I can't even imagine. You're good. Take a minute. You're good. No, you're good. This is good.
Okay. So towards the end of the stay, he kind of said like, I'm running out of people to ask. And it was kind of at that moment where I was like, when I lost Fit4Mom, like we lost our community.
Yeah.
Like we lost the people we could ask and like the people we could rely on. So when things started settling and, you know, we got him home, got him back into the rhythm of things, I was like, I need to go back.
Yeah.
I need to get back into the classes. And so that's when I officially did like the rejoining during their anniversary week. And I was like, I am making a commitment to myself, making a commitment, you know, to just building back up community that we had lost.
Absolutely.
You know, post-COVID, post-moving, post all the things.
It's a lot in 4 years. I mean, you had 3 kids in 4 years too. That's a lot. And moved. That's a lot. So it's nice to have, it's like adamant to have those people that you can rely on. And the nice thing about Fit4Mom, because I kind of had a similar start where somebody approached me pregnant with my first daughter. We had just moved here. I knew nobody and all my friends back home didn't have kids. And so I was like, I don't know how to make mom friends pregnant. Like you don't go out to the bars or like out, you know, we weren't doing that. And you're like, I'm not going to go hang out with a bunch of people with kids yet because I'm just pregnant. And so someone who was a member was like, I was walking my dog and she's like, oh, you're pregnant. Like come to this class. And it was the same thing. And I met a few women and one of them I'm in the Moms in Business group with. She owns a pediatric chiropractic business and she had a daughter who was in the NICU as well. I'd love to connect you guys.
Yes.
But she, that's how I met her. And so, and we like had lost touch for a while, but same thing. I kind of went back and forth with Fit4Mom. COVID was in that time. I had 2 kids and then went back to work. And so, and again with the scheduling. And so, but the nice thing is like I still get their newsletters and I feel like even when I see people that I know, like there's still that connection. It's not like you're ever like out of the community. You can still be a part of it, even if you're kind of inactive, like you're just kind of taking a break. Because sometimes the scheduling doesn't work. No. So on that note, do you think that you guys would add more classes?
Yeah, so that's honestly been like my biggest goal in this whole like resale, reopening process has been just like, I know how important this village was for me and like the access to it is a little bit difficult when you're a pregnant first-time mom. Like, how do you approach a bunch of moms with like strollers? Like, it feels uncomfortable, right? And how do you, if you're a working mom, like, how do you make it to class? And if you're a work-from-home mom, like, how do you balance all the things? So it's really been my goal to just expand like as much as we can. So first expansion happening is we are opening a Hickson location.
Cool. I'm in Hickson. Yay.
Yes. That's been my goal just because, you know, I live in Hickson and coming from, and I'm sure it's the same like in Denver, I don't see driving too much as a problem. Like I'm used to traffic coming from, you know, DC. But what I'm noticing is a lot of moms don't. Like these bridges and these rivers are like a mental
It's split up. Like if you're in that side, like East Brainerd, Ottawa, you hit Hamilton Place and you're like, this is good. I'm not going past it.
Yeah.
Unless you need to.
Yeah.
But then same with Hickson. Like I don't really go past downtown. I hit here and I'm like, go, cool. We're good. It's about like 20, 25 minutes is my max.
Yeah. It's like there's like the North River and then there's like Ottawa and it's just very segmented, right? And so traditionally we've offered classes at Imagination Station in Collegedale in the morning, and then downtown as well. So we're working on more evening classes. So hopefully we can attract some working moms as well that way. Hickson location will be coming in September. So I'm hoping to get more Chester Frost Park.
It's a great location.
So I'm hoping to get more like North River moms who are like, ooh, Collegedale's a little far. So those are two kind of expansion things. And then we do have specialty programs for moms who are really like postpartum and kind of past that like 6 month, no longer running on adrenaline, maybe babies falling into more of a schedule.
Yeah.
Maybe. Some of mine did, some of mine didn't.
Yeah.
But we do like Run Club and a Body Well program as well, where we're trying to offer more virtual options and early morning options as well. So, and again, I'm just really, really hoping that like more variety, more times, more locations, like going to attract all the moms basically.
I think it will. I think I like to work out with my kids not there, just personally, because I feel like I just can focus on it. Especially with 3, I don't know how I would even do it now with 3 kids.
My biceps or something.
I'm sure they are.
It's possible. It's not easy, but it's possible.
So I like I've never done the night classes that wasn't fit for baby that are by yourself, but I feel like that's nice too if you do want to work out by yourself and kind of need that break.
Yeah, and it's so funny because every baby is just so different. So like my first, he could not do the stroller-based class. Like, he screamed the whole time. And I was like, this is not fun for me. This is not fun for you. And this is just not how I want to spend my day. My daughter, she was fine. So, like, I was able to take her and, like, we were able to do the class just fine. And my son is pretty much the same way. And it's so funny because before I rejoined Fit4Mom here during the anniversary week, we tried out the YMCA. I got text after text because my youngest, they could not calm him down. And I was like, okay, you're a workout with me, buddy. Like every kid is different.
Oh, totally.
And so going back to what you said, where like this community is kind of always here for you, like, you know, if you have your second or third kid and they are, you know, a clinger, you can come
Stage 5 clinger.
You can come. There's space for you. And if you're in like the 6-month year postpartum and you can get out of the house at bedtime, highly recommend. Yes. You know, we have the evening mom only classes. So we're just trying to just attract all the moms at all the times, all throughout the city.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like it wasn't geared specifically towards stay-at-home moms, but with the scheduling, like the 9:30 a.m., it's hard if you're working to make that, unless you're working at night.
And then like another like COVID benefit is like work hours have been kind of flexible too. So we do have a couple of moms who work like 4/10s and then they'll come on a Friday. Cool. You know, it's just kind of different. Yeah. Everybody's schedule is different.
Okay, so what would you say are your strengths when it comes to owning a business? I know it's pretty new, but you've been a working mom for a while. So what are your strengths when it comes to maintaining your family life? And I don't like the word balance. Most people don't, but when your worlds combined, what would you say are your strengths with the combined worlds?
I find that so funny because I think back to when I was pregnant with my first, like, you know your life is about to change. But nothing prepares you for how it actually is going to change until it like happens. And I think back to that time, like, we didn't even have him on a daycare list. Like, what were we thinking? Like, what were we doing? Like, we were just like, oh yeah. And like, we had no maternity or paternity leave really. And I was like, oh yeah, we'll be fine. Like, what were we thinking? What were we doing? And so like my whole time, mostly due to COVID, like, my whole motherhood time has really been like a working from home mom. And so, and I had very limited childcare options, especially in the beginning, because like COVID shut down a ton of the daycares. And then when they finally did open back up, it was very limited and all the things. And so for me, I've just kind of always been super creative in terms of how we're going to handle childcare. And then also just being very flexible in terms of like when I can get stuff done, right? Sure. So my kids, mostly due to COVID, have been very schedule oriented. Like that was our reality.
I feel like kids thrive on schedules.
I was like, that was our reality. I need you to sleep so I can crunch out some work in the morning. Yeah. Y'all need to be on the same nap in the afternoon because I need to crunch out some work, and we all go to bed at the same time. So that's really helped me, just being schedule oriented. And then just the to-do lists. The to-do lists never end. And I think that's something like pre-children.
Personality-wise.
Right. Like I was a to-do list type of person. I think you'll meet a lot of former teachers that are very like, this is what I need to get
for
done.
Sure.
Right. And you just don't know. Like you have a plan for the day as a mom. And if you get half of that done, like
that's a good day. That's a great day.
And so like just coming to terms with like done is better than perfect. And what are like the 2 or 3 top things that like need to get done. Great. Like if those things are done, today was a good day.
That's a great business thought process as well, because a lot of times it's like with kids, like things come up that you have no idea were going to come up. And then you're like, I didn't even do anything all day. What was I doing?
And then we woke up with a fever and you're like, okay, today's a wash.
Story of my life.
Today's a wash. And then I think beyond just like personality and organization and like all the to-do lists, it's really kind of who you have around you. So like I'm blessed to have a super supportive husband. We love to pivot together, try new things together, and just see what works and do what's best for our family. Yeah. So that's been really helpful to have him on my side. And then particularly with Fit4Mom, I was blessed to inherit a really phenomenal team of instructors who all basically wanted to stick around post resale. And so like had they all said no, like we're done when she's done, it would have been a very chaotic start. And so I think that's just again a testament to like the community and the village that's around, like through the changes, through the growth, through the whatever, like the core, the community and the village is still there.
That's amazing. I was going to ask that because I know Rachel, and she had such a following, and like a lot of times the business and the following is the person. So I was going to ask that. So have you had not a lot of staff changes then? You've had maybe some people change?
So I think what Rachel did really, really well as a leader is going back to what you were saying, like they weren't necessarily in it for Rachel, right? Like she was obviously the owner and like the leader of the group, but she did such a phenomenal job of like empowering different staff members to take on leadership roles. So she had like a general manager, a leads manager. And so there were so many people involved in the day-to-day operations of the business that it wasn't, just we go where Rachel goes. It was very, very much like a community of moms running and keeping things going. And then beyond them, you have the day-to-day instructors who a lot of moms fall in love with. Different types of classes, different types of instructors, different styles of instructors. And so she was really good at like picking out, she
different
would do
personalities. That's great. Yeah.
And so, I'm the owner of Fit4Mom. She used to be the owner of Fit4Mom Chattanooga, but like it doesn't feel like this is mine.
Right.
It's everybody's. And it's the community that makes it really what it is.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
What would you say are your challenges that come with owning a business and raising a family, or working and raising a family?
Yeah, I think, so I'm coming at this from like, again, I was a work from home mom. I had to get my 40 hours of work week in like Monday through Friday. Sure. So it was very much more structured versus like owning a business now.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. I am finding though, it's starting to be more than 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
But when it's yours, when it's yours, you don't tend to mind as much. I think.
Oh yeah. And there's times where there's so much overlap in both business and when you own a business and your personal life that it doesn't feel like you're just like, okay, this is it. Like you just kind of go with the flow. And I feel like your strength of being creative in those situations with childcare and working probably is helpful in that.
So I think like one big thing is like choosing the right type of business, whether it's like you're going into like purchasing something or you're trying to do your own thing. Like you do need to be realistic of like, there are 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Like what's going to work for you and what's going to work for your family right now. So like Fit4Mom really works for my family right now. Like all summer, I brought all 3 of my kids with me to work like every single day. And it was great. They loved it. The 2 older ones are like, are we going to exercise class today?
It's such a good example too for your kids to see you work out and like the community and the people. And I know they do like play dates and stuff after and crafts and stuff, but it's so good for them to see that because I'm sure they copy. I mean, my daughter loves to copy everything that I do and sometimes she's real humbling. But I'm sure they like, if we do like, you know, yoga or have a workout mat, they'll be like, I'm going to work out. And they don't, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm like, that's great. You're doing great. Yeah.
No, and it's funny when you start going to the classes more, like they ask to be parked next to certain, like, Mom, park me over there next to him. I'm like, okay.
Don't park here. It's no parking zone.
So I think picking the right one, like for you and what's age and stage you are in right now is super, super important. And I think just for me, the biggest challenges have been the running to-do list. It never ends. So you just tackle what you can. And then something I'm trying to be more mindful of right now is just the amount of, like, we talk about screen time for our kids. Screen time for me is like quadrupled, if not more, just because, you know, I try to make myself always available to my staff, try to make myself always available to clients, new members, and getting them all oriented. And so that means that my phone has, you know, the little message bubble, like 100 messages all the time. And I'm like, I cannot function like this. And so the big thing I've been trying to like tell myself recently is like, be where your feet are, be present. So like, you know, right now I'm with my kids, like my feet are with my children. That's what I'm focusing on right now. And I think that really helps. Like I've tried balancing and multitasking, like let's go to, I don't know, a play place and they can play and I can like catch up on emails, but you never really feel done or feel like you
feel like a half in one and half in the other.
Yeah. And so I've just like in this last couple of weeks of summer, like clicked and I was like, I just got to be where my feet are. So like right now I'm here. This is what I'm doing. And when I leave here, like I can officially like
cross it off and then add something else, right?
Right. And like move something else higher on the list. But I think that's just so important because there's always going to be a list. There's always going to be something to do. So just how can you give something 100% when you're in that moment and then like officially like make it done and you know, not half done.
Yeah, I feel like my daughter, when I'm home and I'll like be on my phone, she like senses it and then she'll come over and just start firing questions. And I'm like, I got to put this away for a second because I got to focus on you. Because they like, and they deserve that attention, obviously, especially when they've been at their little school during the day or with a sitter or something. And I come home, I'm like, they need my full focus.
And then too, like, that's happened to me before where like they'll be playing. I'm like, okay, let me just pull out my phone real quick. And then you're right.
Their ear picks up.
And they're like, hey mom. And I'm like, oh. So like, let's just avoid all the frustrations, be present, be where your feet are. And then, you know, your anxiety might still be up there. Your to-do list might be really high, but at least it's like, you know that you gave your all when it mattered, where it mattered.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, any upcoming events? I know you're probably right at the anniversary, right? That's coming up.
So even though I purchased in May, and that's technically my anniversary date, Fit4Mom Chattanooga is celebrating 8 years in the area. And so we're doing our 8 is Great anniversary week. Yes. That'll be the week of September 16th. So we do a free week of classes for all moms to try all the classes at all the locations. We do lots of goodies and giveaways throughout the week with lots of enrollment specials, play dates, mom's night out, all the things happen that week. So it's a really fun week to really get to know all the classes, all the instructors, current members.
Okay, well tell us where we can find Fit4Mom online, social media, all of that. Plug away.
Yes, so we are on top of our website and our socials. So our website is chattanooga.fit4mom.com. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Fit4 4, the number 4, Mom Chattanooga. And if you follow us on social, we post our weekly schedules, our monthly schedules. First class is always free. So even though anniversary week is coming up and the Mother's Day free week and all that stuff, anyone's more than welcome to try a class at any time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. That's it.
Oh my God.
You did amazing. You did amazing. I thought it was great.